content on this channel is for entertainment and educational purposes only. We are, not a financial advisor, and nothing shared here should be considered financial advice, investment guidance, or a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument. All trading involves risk, and you should always do your own research or consult with a licensed financial professional before making any trading or investment decisions. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Use the information here at your own risk.
Hi guys. Alright, so this will now be part 3 of the August backtesting. So let's move forward. We recently stopped at the 15th of August. So let's move forward, right? This is our TP levels or goals so far for the month. So let's move forward. Alright. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean up my charts here, because every single week that I backtest, I clean up the charts. Please copy that. Alright, let's move forward. Now you can see here, there's the daily levels. The daily levels are really easy, guys. I mean, really, come on. There's your support. There's your resistance. What else do we have? We have a daily inverted fair value gap here, which price reacted from. What did price do? Price went down, reacted off this fair value gap, went up. Price went up, took out this high as resistance, as well as tapping this daily order block right there, and had a reaction from it. Guys, how easy is it to make use of EURUSD's levels by just following the daily time frame? Very, very easy. Very, very easy. Let's just move forward, right? So there's our levels. Let's do this. That's the order block, daily order block. There's another daily high, as well as here. These weeks are always, it's a form of liquidity. Because as you can see, when this move was created, price went up to test these wicks and started going down. So yeah, that's it. Any case, let's move forward, right? And remember, this is Friday. This is that Friday, so we don't backtest. All right, cool. So now we are on the 18th of August. So what are we going to do? Delete all these levels. Right, so what are we waiting for? We're waiting for a break of the low or the high of the Asian session, and we already broken the low of the Asian session. So that's it. So we wait for a close above that level, because this level is where it's inside the London session, right? So you can legitimately use that as a high to work from. We need to wait for price to close above it, which it did not, unfortunately. So now we have to follow price. Also, are there any news, right? Let's have a look here. Nothing. All right. Cool. Let's move forward. Let's have a look at the daily time frame. So where's our levels here? Resistance levels are clearly here. But I mean, we already took the Asian low, right? So if we get a reversal model for a buy, I'll take it. Okay, not yet. Okay, the reason why I'm moving on is because whatever's happening in between this zone here is an internal structure unless it's being broken. So let's just move forward. Okay, there we broke the low. Now we can use this as the most recent high. And now we can move on and use this as the most recent high. Insane, right? But now just be careful. I'm gonna stop here with London. Why? Because where are we? What time? 9 AM. And that is what? The start of New York session. There we go. Start of New York session. I did not enter in this trade at that day. Because because now it's New York time frame, and we entered this trade. You could have entered this trade inside of the New York time frame, but you can easily be stopped out by price doing this, following the trend, right? And now we have a new session low to work from. There we go, there, and a new session high to work from. There we go, here. So now we look for a trade for the New York session. And price would have taken you out here. Alright. In any case, let's move forward. So London low has been taken, so now we wait for a New York setup. Price did not close below that. No. Oh, above that line. We tested this low, so now we can move the high there. So that's now new point of interest. Price goes up, close above here. We wait for a retest and buy. Let's move forward. All right, so there's a new high we can make use of because that low has been broken. So now we can use this as the high because there's a fair value gap. So let's move forward. Price did not close above that line. And that's a no trade. Alright, there's nothing you can do about it. That's a complete no trade. So let's move on. Let's count this as a 0. It is what it is. Let's move on. So now the next day. Are there any news? For USD? No, nothing for USD. Only for CAD and for NZD. So there's nothing for USD. Right, let's move forward to Tuesday. That was the daily low level that was marked out, and see how price reacted from that level. Very cool. Any case, so now we're inside London, so we are waiting for what? This high to be broken for a sell, or this low to be broken for a buy. So let's move forward. Okay, price went up, broke that high. Now we are looking for a sell. Okay, that's the low that we can make use of. Alright, let's move. Okay, there's a new high that can be used, because why? That's a fair value gap right there, and we have inverted it. Easy as that. And let's just quickly paste our rules before I forget it, right? Let's anchor it. All right, so what are we waiting for? We're waiting for a 50% retest and a sell. There we go. Here. Let's make it 78. There we go. Aim for 1.5. And what's the order block trade? That would be this candle here. That's that bearish candle because it's wick is the one that touches the high of this level. So we can actually just do this, copy, paste. And then a 2-to-1 risk to reward trade. There we go. Let's move forward. Okay, we're inside this trade now. All right. And we got stopped out. All right. So let's move forward. This is a -1 here. And a -1 there. All right. Let's have a look. We're on the 19th of August. So yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's wait for the New York session. So I'm going to do absolutely nothing right now. You see, it's very unfortunate because it got stopped out, price had a reaction, and then started going down. So we could have easily caught the sell, but that's not within my rules. My rules say you move on to the next session. Why? Because what if price just keeps on doing this? And then you get stopped out again. And then what? Whose fault is that going to be? That's going to be your own fault because you did not stop. Right? You can see prices going down now, but when you are here, you can't say what's the price going to do now. You can't. In any case, let's move forward to New York session. There's New York. We are in the middle of the London session right now. So let's mark out this as the high. And we can mark out this as the low. Okay, let's move forward. Insane. Price is clearly playing around here. We took out the low. Beautiful. Now we can look for a buy. Up until here. There we go. All right, so what high do we focus on now? Price clearly tested these lows, so we can use this as a high. That's fine. Let's move forward. Fair value gap. We have a new high here that we can make use of. That's a bullish candle there. Doesn't look like it, but it is. There. All right. And unfortunately, there we go. All right, we're done. This is the new week open gap of the previous week. Actually, interesting. All right, cool. Any case, let's go basically at the daily support level right now. Right. So yes, I did stop here. So now we have a loss on Tuesday, but that's fine. Let's move on to the next day. Tuesday, the 19th. Okay, Wednesday. Okay, cool. We tested these lows. Took out these lows, right? Because there's a wick that went down, so that is legitimately part of the low of the Asian session. And this is actually legitimately a turning point. Why? Because this high is created inside. It's inside the Asian session, but it's on the last 2 candles of the Asian session, which means it's still legitimate to be used as a high for this trade. Alright, so let's wait for... Okay, let's see if there's any news. Wednesday, FOMC meeting minutes at 2 p.m. So that's clearly way inside the New York session. Alright, that's fine. Let's move forward. Alright, we closed above. Closed above that line. Now we wait for a retest of the 50% fib. And what is the order block that we can make use of here? We can actually use this candle or this candle. I would say this candle to be safe. That candle. That candle here. Alright, so let's enter off the 61 for the 2-to-1 risk reward trade, and let's enter off the 50% level for the 1.5%. Let's go 1.5 and 2. Okay, let's move forward. Okay, we actually entered both trades beautifully right there, and now we just give it time. And that's take profit. There we go. Beautiful. Alright, so for Wednesday so far, that is a 1.5 and 2. There we go. So now let's move on to New York time frame. We can now literally just move on. Okay, cool. There's New York. Right, so what are we waiting for now? Now we're waiting for... We actually took the high already. You see that? But we do not have a low turning point. We can't use this because this is clearly at least 4 to 5 candles inside the London time frame. So we need to wait for a new low to be created. Remember, a new higher low to be created. So we're still waiting for price to go up and close above that line. There's nothing we can do about it. We have to wait. Unfortunately, price do not do that. Oh, now it did. Now it did. Right. We can use that for a close below. And then retest for a sell. And price did not close below that line. Only now it did. So what are we waiting for now? We're waiting for a 50%. 50% retest from this candle and onwards. Unfortunately, we don't get it before 3 p.m. Alright, now we're stopping here because we are meeting our rules. Our rules which says stop new trades at 15% New York time. So now we move on to the next day. So let's move on to Thursday. Right. Thursday the 21st of August. There's the Asian time frame. Let's wait until 2 a.m. the next day, which is here. There we go. Stop. All right, we took out Huh. It's Euro news here. Alright, let's just give it some time. Let's see what's on the 21st of August. News for that day. There are Euro news at 3:30. Yes, correct. 3:30, so we do not look for trades 30 minutes past this level. Or just be, yeah, after we get to that level and we don't get an entry yet, we don't enter. Okay, we do have an entry model that we can make use of, but if we don't close, we don't get to enter the trade before 3 AM, we're gonna stop. Right now we stop until the news is done, at least 15 minutes past the news time. Let's wait. Unfortunately, we're not going to enter this trade because the direction also now changed. We took out the Asian high. Alright, cool. So let's wait. Okay, so this was the news, right? At 3:30. Nice bit of volume here. But let's move forward. There's our bearish fair value gap, but we don't have an inverted fair value gap yet. There we go. We broke that high, so now we can actually make use of this as the low, the new higher low, or a point of interest. Yes, we closed below it. Alright, so now what do? We're waiting for a 50% pullback here. And what else do we wait for? We wait for a retest of the order block, which is the last candle before this move down. There we go. The one that has the wick against the nearest high. So here we can look for a sell from this level. We add 30 points. And the order block entry would be here. Alright. There we go. Okay, cool. Now we wait. Okay, price did go down a little bit more. Let's just wait for it. Okay, we entered the 50%. And price went into our direction and did take profit. It's very unfortunate that we did not enter this order block trade. But let's say, what I normally do is I take 5 points, like I mentioned in the previous recording. I take at least 5 to 10 points for the order block trade, and I add that to my entry. In this case, it's now 577, right? You see? Yes. I think I entered that day. 577, 571. That's 5 points. Come on now. Okay. I'm going to enter that trade as an entry. And we hit take profit. Yeah, I'm going to enter this. Beautiful. This is exactly what I do as I watch the price moves for the order block trades. I add that extra 10 points. I think I need to add this to my rules as well for the order block trades. Add 10 points extra to the order block. Alright. That's a good extra to add. Alright, let's move forward. So this is now a TP for Thursday. So this is now 1.5. And this is 2. Let's now move on to New York session. There's New York. We took out the London session low. Oops. There we go. And now we're waiting for a close above a high. This one here, that's that bullish candle before this drop down, and this here. Very value gaps. Let's move forward. That's the new high to focus on. That's the new high to be focused on. We closed above it. Now we're waiting for a 50% retest. Alright, at this stage I would plan my trade here. 125, let's make 155. There we go. 1.5 risk to reward trade. And what is the order block entry? The order block entry is that plus 10 pips. Right? Let's do that. Let's enter from there. And now we wait. There's the entry for the 50% level. There's the entry for the order block trade. And let's just keep an eye on this then. Alright, so we closed here. So we closed in a minus actually. Remember, that's the end of the day. The prop firms close your trades at the end of the day if you're not out of the trades yet. So I would count this as at least minus 0.5. So now what I would do is I would take 0 there and I'll rate this as a 1.5. Alright, so now let's move on to Friday, the 22nd of August. Right, so let's do that. Just keep in mind, where are we right now on the daily time frame? We are at a point of support here and here. Whoa, there's London. London actually took out the low already. Right there. Right. There's the wicks. Alright, so now what do we not have? This would have been a perfect entry model here. Right? We could have entered this trade here and could have taken off, but why didn't we enter? Do you see any inverted fair value gaps here, or fair value gaps here? No, you don't. You see this fair value gap, but that's not the inverted fair value gap that we are looking for. We're looking for a bearish fair value gap that's inverted, and that's why we couldn't take this entry here. So that is unfortunate. So let's move forward. See if we could catch anything else for London on this Friday. Very unfortunate because price is just trading up here. And going even up even further. There's the high of the Asian time frame. And we are done for the week. We are done for the week. Nothing you can do about it. I'm going to stop here. We're basically done for the week because there's a no trade. There's a rule which says no trade on the Friday New York session. So yeah, we are done for this week. So let's see how we did. All right. Let's take this. 8%, 12%. Right. Let's just do this. Let's count it all up together. 1.5 plus 1 minus 1 is 0, right? So there's nothing here. There's no trade during London and no trade during New York. So clearly that's a 1.5% win for this trade. Now let's take a look here. 2 risk to reward, so it's 2. Okay, it's 1 point, so it's 3.5 minus 1 is 2.5. So 14.5%, and then we add 1.5 to the one at the top, so it's 9.5%. Not the best of months, but in profit still, nonetheless. So yeah, let's now move on to the next week.